Good afternoon, everyone. It's Hanifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, my thoughts have been so much about health and healing and how much perspective can be changed if we choose it to. I can say that in most of my time in healthcare, I have worked a lot with lifting people's emotions and helping people understand that they can too. And of course, that became more and more important, that I help empower people to get to that space. And sometimes I do it through grief recovery and sometimes through brain retraining. And both of those now also have this baseline of a spiritual component. And of course, I work with energy work, which also has that same baseline. So when I was thinking about this, I was thinking what a difference it is from the space of the 3D world, I'll call it. And some of you might be familiar with that term, and that's very usual that we're used to seeing in terms of this is good, this is not so good. There's the success oriented or judgmental perspective of this is what needs to be done, this is what should not be done, and all of those sorts of things. A lot of commentary background that, this is how people should live their lives. Should. Lots of shoulds as opposed to maybe that's possible. So when we start thinking maybe that's possible, something like this, something different could be possible in any situation, we start moving into a little bit more of a spiritual direction. And of course, this expansion allows us to see things just from a slightly different perspective. And I was realizing that, wow, it's so different in terms of the healthcare that I grew up with, in terms of studying. It was very much about disease focus. And now I'm very much about wellness focus. And of course, even when I worked with disease, and I still do now, my focus is about the wellness of the individual. So from their body, their mind, their emotions, their spiritual space. So all of this together from a wellness perspective. And it's very different than looking at things from a disease perspective. So I thought I'd share a few quotes that I came across and help you to see that side too. The first one that I came across I thought was very, very fitting about this sort of contemplation that I was doing is by David Bowie. And he said, I've been putting out the fire with gasoline. I've been putting out the fire with gasoline. And you would think, wow, well, that's not helping. Well, guess what? Yeah, focusing on things that are not right is not helping. Focusing on the things that are right always helps. And to understand that we have to do the work, if we choose to get ourselves there, right? To focus on this is right. This is where I choose to be. This is how I respond to my situation, regardless of what situation it is. And so, again, yes, some of you know that I had an awakening that has led me in this direction stronger and stronger. And I'm so happy. Like, there must have been something about my soul that has been looking for this direction, because now that I'm here, it feels so well aligned. My thoughts, my words, my actions and behaviors, it comes from a place of love, which I absolutely love. And I think, well, who wouldn't want to come from a place from love, right? But really, it is a journey and it's a conscious decision to be there. So the next quotation I found was by Buddha, and it says, just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life. Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life. That's so interesting, right? It's like, okay, so we can understand about the candle not burning without fire, but this idea of something that lights us up is literally what this is talking about. And I feel that spirituality can do that for so many people. It certainly has for me, and it's so unexpected. It wasn't that I was going into this because I've never had a spiritual life. I've always had a spiritual life, but there's a very different awareness. It's not a space of fear. It's a space of love and kindness and generosity and togetherness and unity and strength and determination and acceptance and all of those things, all coming from the same space of spirituality. And of course, that helps my emotions. Of course, it helps my thoughts. Of course, it helps the words I speak. And it, of course, helps my life in every way. And I thought that a lot of people wouldn't think that something so simple could really light us up, or not living without a spiritual life that could be this like a candle that cannot burn, right? So same sort of idea. I feel that there's something so fundamental that's missing in most people's lives when we are not looking from this perspective and taking a moment for pausing and understanding what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what the goal is, and whether we're getting closer to it, because a lot of people are just adding gasoline, and that's not the best way that I've seen to help put out a fire. In terms of kindling a fire, it needs just a gentle, steady flow of air, right? That's all. And we know that meditation, mindfulness, always focuses on breathing and breath work, and that's a steady flow of air. But it's also this steady flow of intention from our own minds. And I would love for you today to think of, what is the steady flow going through your own system? Is it lighting up a fire that is useful, or is it exploding into something not controllable, or is it needing to be fanned just a little bit, just to build that little bit of that candle, to lift it up into a light that lights you up? And so finally, I came across this quotation. It's a saying, I guess, but it was just so nicely put that I thought, this is how I feel about this direction and this life experience. It says, light a fire they can't put out. Light a fire they can't put out. And this is anyone who is trying to not let you shine, right? That the fact is, no one can really do it. Like, no one can allow us not to shine. No one can blow out our candle unless we allow that, right? We allow, either we get too close to someone who's not happy with the shine that we have, or we ourselves aren't tending to it. And I have to tell you, I don't feel that anyone has a strong enough wind coming from them, no matter what they're saying, no matter what they're doing, that we don't have the ability to protect ourselves with building our own fire and keeping that fire alive in us, that light lit up. And today I'd love for you to think about, what is it that lights you up? And are you fanning that flame? I hope that you are. I wish you a fantastic day ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.